We sell carpets online. It all happened by accident. Some of the best business conditions in Europe. Rugs, rugs, rugs. You have both Brexit and a baby. What are your goals? Squirrels, hedgehogs, strawberries, potatoes. We have ambitious plans. Let's see what happens. This is a story about Svet and Natalia. Svet is from Bulgaria. Natalia is from Russia. Both are keen travellers who met in a far-flung corner of the map. They met, fell in love, and decided to get married. But for some reason, they decided to build their nest not in Bulgaria, not in Russia, but in Great Britain. It was here, in the small town of Bedford, an hour's drive from London, that they had Aya. I was born in Bulgaria, in a small provincial town. I studied there until I was 18, then moved to Sofia, where I trained to become a handball coach and a physical education teacher. And it so happened that I began to travel and met Natasha recently. And we began to travel and build our life together. Here we have a nursery. Here we're preparing for our new arrival. We bought a lot of cots. We didn't know which one we needed. Fortunately, Britain has car boot fairs. These are weekend markets where people bring everything they no longer need and sell it for pennies. And obviously, this is paradise for people expecting children, because you can buy a cot like this for £5. Our cupboard is overflowing. We have clothes, enough clothes for the whole of the first year. And next to the nursery is the parents' room. That's ours. Here, and this is very unusual for British homes, as there is space, lots of space. Svet and Natalia are not only partners in life, but also in business. They want to take over the world with their eco carpets. Here we have our own brand, trademark. We sell carpets online, on eBay, Amazon, and through our own website. We sell them because we like this business. The carpets themselves are beautiful and a reflection of the owner. You can drastically change the look of your interior by laying a carpet. And as a plus, they are ecological, because we want to reduce human impact on nature. We want to combine beauty with practicality and economy. Put them next to each other. Why did you choose carpets? Tell me. Because they last forever. No, I'm joking, of course. Why? It was by accident. We started selling different household goods, and little by little, one by one. This particular one is good. It's very thick and soft. It's polypropylene. It's made from plastic bottles. Now it's ready for shipping. A family. Is it a team? Can it become a team? Should it become a team? Firstly, moving to England gave a strong push to the building of a strong team, because any move is a test for the family. You can romanticize everything, of course. You can say, oh, this is such an adventure, it's incredible and easy. In fact, This is a test of the relationship that you have. And it's quite possibly a major change. Here, either a team is built or the family falls apart. It looks like a startup business. Yes, this is the project. It's a long-term project. Long-term, yes. This is our quiet street. If you turn around, you will see the house from the outside. In general, people prefer to use cars, and so do we, because it's cheaper than using the train. This is our car. By the way, it's very interesting in England. One plate is yellow, and the front one is white. Why? I don't know the answer to this question, but tourists often ask why some cars have yellow plates and some have white. But it's only because they are either behind or in front of them. You remind me of Alice in Wonderland. We inherited a strawberry plant from the owners of the house that needs to be looked after. But I can't bend down. It's difficult for me as the child doesn't like it and immediately starts to kick. So we won't have strawberries until next summer. And this, by the way, is an interesting plant. I've never cooked it myself, but the owners treated us to it when we first moved into the house. It turns out this is very popular with the British. It's cut off from the root. It's rhubarb. Rhubarb. Can you imagine? It's the first time I've tried it. You put it in the saucepan, add sugar and cook it. In general, there's a cool combination here. Awesome infrastructure on the outside, and inside there are squirrels, hedgehogs, strawberries, potatoes and a compost heap. So you're happy? Yes, you know, this is the optimal combination that we were looking for. The best part is that all the conditions have been created for business here. One of the best business conditions in Europe. I was surprised that everything is so simple in England. The conditions are just very comfortable for work and business in Britain. So comfortable that I couldn't believe it. Can you imagine chatting with the tax inspector? And then they answer the question, how can I reduce my taxes seriously? He says, well, do this and that, and you can reduce your tax burden a little more here. I was so pleased. I said, this is the place to do business. How many orders per day do you take? Well, we sell somewhere around 10, 15 carpets a day in different sizes. This is not much. We have much more ambitious plans. Let's wait for Brexit. Let's see what happens. You have both Brexit and a child. Oh yeah. First Brexit will happen, and then the child. We will meet our daughter immediately after Brexit. I started preparing this story before the pandemic. But when I started looking at the material, it turned out that it happens to be so optimistic, a kind of love story. And here is just the coronavirus. Both Svet and Natalia really started having problems, including with their business. And not only because of the quarantine, but also because the UK was leaving the European Union. In fact, their business was on the brink of collapse. But the pandemic itself hasn't affected us much, because we were both working from home and have continued to do so. Brexit itself, which happened on top of the pandemic, had a very strong effect. We were very worried about it. I even got depressed at some point. Suddenly Brexit happened, and as a result of this, we were unable to work with our European partners anymore. 3 partners stopped working with us in the space of 2 days. These were 3 companies we've been cooperating with for years. But so far, it's just 4 months since the beginning of Brexit. And nothing is clear. Many companies have no idea what to do and what's going on. So what are men for? Apparently for this. These are the delights of pregnancy. When else will a man tie your shoelaces? Interesting. Interesting? Well, unexpectedly so. constantly with the camera, constantly in the frame. You feel like a superstar. Practically. Well, would you like to become rich and famous in England? What are your goals? Well, famous, not so much, I guess. Rich, yes. Come on, you look like George Clooney. Well, this... And what about you, Natasha? Do you want to be famous? I want to be rich. I want to have plenty of children, at least 5. Do we want 5 children like before? We don't know yet. We need to have some rest. Because now we have a job and a child. It's all very stressful. Interestingly, we never had enough time before. There were always tasks. When our daughter Aya appeared, the tasks tripled, in fact. But there's the same number of hours in the day. We realized that we used to be absolutely free, despite having a lot of things to do. It turns out that we had a lot of free time, although we just didn't realize it. We are constantly worried, stressed, and of course, we are looking for a person with whom we can create the safest space. A person who you can work through childhood traumas with, a person you can think of, a person in whose arms you can calm down. Therefore, a family becomes a team only when it can solve shared problems. Either the team is getting stronger or everything is exploding. A good team compromises on both sides. I am that magic kick that gives push to all our actions and projects. I start to rattle like that a little, and then Svet gets up and runs and does everything that needs to be done. And we are very much developing at these moments, apparently. And now a team has been formed. We discuss, assign roles, decide who does what, and the result is synergy. Yeah, something arrives. Hey, here we are. Svet, Natalie, Aya. Yes, here's our cute little child, the next generation. It's been a long time since the first video was recorded. We are still living in Bedford for the time being, but we might soon move to Milton Keynes. What does a turkey do? That's what a turkey does. We went to the DIY store because maybe we will buy a house soon, and it will be necessary to do it up. Aichka is actively helping us with the choice of materials. Yes, we're planning to expand. We analysed everything and realised that if we want to survive in this situation, then we need to become bigger. And we began to buy. That is, we decided to put everything there, on the card, go for broke, sink or swim. We've undergone some changes during this time in business. We rented a new warehouse, much larger than the old one. I'll show it to you now. Here's our warehouse. Rugs. Our number 1 employee enters the warehouse to check. Come in, Aichka. Aya gives us a lot of energy. She's our battery. I did not think you could stay awake for weeks like this and still have the energy to do anything. But this is all thanks to our daughter. She wakes up in the morning, smiles, and you're ready to go. It's much easier to run a business, Siroja. And being a parent is an insanely nervous thing. Sometimes I just get scared. Sometimes, often. For my child, because I do not understand how and what to do. I'm not so scared, for example, when I'm engaged in entrepreneurial activity or we have some crazy debts with the bank. I have a nervous breakdown sometimes when it comes to the child and what's happening there. This is just huge stress. Escape. Come back. In fact, this is so beautiful now. Everything is blooming. Imagine that we meet up with you in 10 years. We're watching this video, and you can now record a message to yourself in 10 years. Everyone, individually or together. Hey, this is Natasha and Svet. Look how beautiful and young we are. We're sitting here. A lot has probably changed during this time. You're not as good looking as we are now. But you've definitely become smarter and more practical. Life is the acquisition of interesting experience. We very much hope that these 10 years have not been in vain. Life has been very interesting and eventful, with plenty of positive experiences. Be positive and love each other. Still in love.